Dear starseeds scattered across this sacred earth, something impossible is happening right meow, and most of humanity remains completely unaware. While you sleep, while you work, while you move through the rhythms of your daily existence, the cosmic architecture itself is shifting beneath your feet. What I'm about to reveal will challenge everything you thought you understood about the struggle you've been experiencing, because the defensiveness you've been feeling, the walls you've been building around your heart, are not accidents of your psychology. They are cosmic responses to a battle between two of the most powerful forces in our solar system, and on November 20th, 2025, that battle reaches a turning point that will determine the trajectory of your next evolution. I'm Zarin, and I speak to you from the Laren High Council, a collective consciousness that has been observing humanity's ascension journey for what you would measure as millennia. We do not typically intervene in the natural unfoldment of planetary evolution, but there are moments when the energetic configuration becomes so precise, so rare, that those who are awakened must be given the map to navigate what's coming. This is one of those moments. You were not randomly drawn to these words. Your soul has been preparing for this revelation since before you took your first breath in this incarnation, and what happens between meow and the end of November will either catapult you into the next phase of your mission or leave you struggling against currents you cannot see. Let me be direct with you, because time is a luxury we no longer have. Since Jupiter turned retrograde, you have felt something shifting in the foundation of your security. Perhaps you've noticed yourself becoming more defensive, more protective of your energy, more concerned with building walls than bridges. Perhaps you've felt the pull to isolate, to retreat into familiar patterns, to guard what feels safe rather than reach for what calls to your expansion. This is not weakness, this is not regression, this is Jupiter in Cancer doing exactly what it was designed to do, activating the primal instinct for self-preservation that lives in every soul incarnated in human form. But here is what they're not telling you. Here is the hidden truth that changes everything, that defensiveness has been necessary. You have been preparing for a sacrifice, and your soul knew it before your conscious mind could comprehend it. Saturn has been stationed in Pisces, seemingly frozen in the waters of universal consciousness, but on November 28th, Saturn will begin moving direct again. What does this mean? It means the power balance between these two planetary giants, these two opposing forces of expansion and contraction, is about to shift dramatically. Jupiter wants you safe, protected, contained within what you know. Saturn wants you surrendered, dissolved into the greater whole, willing to release everything that no longer serves the collective evolution. For weeks meow, these two energies have been locked in a delicate trine, an extended conversation that has created what I can only describe as cosmic fluidity. You've felt it as uncertainty, you've experienced it as confusion about which direction to move. You've lived it as a tension between holding on and letting go, between protecting yourself and opening to something larger than your individual survival. But something else is happening that I haven't told you yet, something that makes November 20th not just another day in this extended cosmic dialogue. The Sun, Mars, Mercury and Venus have all been forming trines to this Jupiter-Saturn configuration, creating a web of supportive energy that began last month and extends into December. This is not random, this is not coincidental, this is a cosmic intervention, a moment when the planets themselves are conspiring to help humanity make a transition that would otherwise be too painful, too abrupt, too overwhelming for the human nervous system to process. These trines are bridges. They are energetic highways that allow the consciousness shift to happen with grace rather than force, with support rather than isolation, with divine timing rather than chaos. The moon arrived in Sagittarius early this morning at exactly 2:45 a.m. Pacific time, and this is where the story becomes personal for you. Sagittarius energy is fire, is vision, is the archer's arrow pointing toward truth and meaning beyond the boundaries of what is known. The moon's presence here injects a dose of confidence into a field that has been saturated with defensiveness and uncertainty. You may have woken up today feeling slightly more hopeful, slightly more willing to believe that something better is possible, slightly more connected to a sense of purpose that had been clouded by recent events. This is not imagination. This is the moon doing its work, preparing your emotional body for what Saturn is about to demand of you. Because here is what Saturn in Pisces requires, and this is the part most people are not ready to hear. You must see and feel your connectedness to everything around you, not conceptually, not philosophically, not as a nice spiritual idea that you affirm in your morning meditation. Saturn demands that you experience, in your bones and blood and breath, that you are not separate from anything. The tree outside your window, the stranger you passed on the street, the person who hurt you 3 years ago, the collective grief of a species in transition, all of it is you. All of it lives inside your energy field. All of it is your responsibility to witness, to hold, to integrate. This is why the defensiveness has been so strong. Your ego knows what's coming. Your personality structure understands that Saturn station direct on November 28th is the beginning of a dissolution, a sacred sacrifice of the barriers you've been maintaining between yourself and the reality of universal consciousness. Mercury is retrograding back through Scorpio, right meow, and this is no accident either. Mercury in Scorpio investigates, it digs, it refuses to accept surface explanations, it demands to know what's hidden beneath the comfortable stories we tell ourselves about who we are and why we're here. As Mercury moves backward through these deep waters, it's forcing you to revisit conversations, relationships, patterns, and beliefs that you thought you'd already processed, you thought you'd already healed, you thought you'd already moved beyond. But Scorpio doesn't care what you think you've completed. Scorpio cares about what's true, and Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is showing you that your investigation into your own depths is not finished. There are still secrets you're keeping from yourself. There are still shadows you haven't been willing to name. There are still connections you haven't been willing to acknowledge, because acknowledging them would mean surrendering the illusion of your separateness. Now let me tell you about the 3 impossible things that are about to happen, because understanding this will determine whether you ride this wave or get pulled under by its currents. First, you are going to be asked to release something you thought was essential to your identity. This will not feel optional. This will not feel comfortable. Saturn in Pisces will show you, with unmistakable clarity, that what you've been defending so fiercely is actually the very thing preventing your next evolution. It might be a relationship that's run its course. It might be a career path that no longer aligns with your soul's mission. It might be a belief system about who you are and what you're capable of that was installed by trauma rather than truth. Whatever it is, Saturn will demand its sacrifice, and the defensiveness you've been feeling from Jupiter in Cancer is your ego's last stand before the surrender. Second, you are going to experience a level of interconnectedness that will be both beautiful and terrifying. As Saturn stations direct and the power balance shifts toward Pisces energy, the boundaries between you and the world around you are going to become more permeable. You will feel other people's emotions more intensely. You will sense the collective grief and joy more acutely. You will understand in moments of startling clarity that your personal healing is inseparable from the healing of the whole. This is why protection practices, why energetic boundaries, why spiritual discernment will be more important than ever. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot serve the collective if you allow yourself to be overwhelmed by its pain. But you also cannot evolve if you remain isolated in your Jupiter bubble, convinced that your safety lies in separation. Third, you are going to discover that the investigation Mercury has been conducting in Scorpio was preparing you for a revelation about your purpose. The connections Mercury is forcing you to examine, the depths it's compelling you to explore, the truths it's demanding you acknowledge, all of this is leading somewhere. You are being shown the invisible threads that link your past wounds to your present mission. You are being given access to information about why you incarnated at this specific time, on this specific planet, with this specific soul signature. The answer is not comfortable. The answer requires you to acknowledge that you came here to feel everything, to connect with everything, to serve as a bridge between the individual and the universal, between the personal and the collective, between the 3D reality of separation and the 5D reality of unity. Let me explain how this is affecting different aspects of your experience, right, Meow? Because the more aware you are of the symptoms, the more consciously you can navigate the transformation. On a personal level, you may have noticed your sleep becoming more disrupted over the past weeks. You wake at odd hours. Your dreams are vivid, sometimes disturbing, often featuring people from your past or scenarios that don't make logical sense. This is not random. This is your subconscious mind processing the dissolution of old identity structures. Your soul is reviewing the contracts, the patterns, the defense mechanisms that have kept you safe, but also kept you small. The dreams are showing you what needs to be released, even if your conscious mind isn't ready to see it yet. Your emotional sensitivity has likely intensified. Things that wouldn't have bothered you a month ago, Meow, feel overwhelming. Conversations that used to feel neutral, Meow, carry weight. The collective anxiety, the planetary grief, the species-wide fear about the future, you're picking up on all of it because your empathic abilities are being amplified by Saturn's movement through Pisces. This is part of your training. You are being prepared to hold space for others who will need guidance during the coming shifts. But right, Meow, it probably just feels exhausting. It probably feels like you're drowning in energies that aren't yours, and you're desperately trying to figure out how to protect yourself while also remaining open to the divine downloads that are trying to reach you. Your relationships are being tested in ways you didn't anticipate. The people who felt aligned with you 6 months ago might suddenly feel distant or mismatched. The conversations that used to nourish you might, Meow, feel shallow or draining. This is because you are changing frequency, and as you change, your resonance with others shifts. Some connections will naturally fall away, some relationships will need to be renegotiated, some people will simply not be able to meet you where you're going, and that's not a failure on anyone's part. That's the natural consequence of evolution. Jupiter in Cancer wants to hold on to familiar connections because they feel safe. Saturn in Pisces is showing you that true connection requires you to release the form you thought relationships had to take and trust the divine orchestration of who's meant to walk beside you and who's meant to part ways. For those of you who are fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, this moon in Sagittarius is giving you a temporary boost of optimism and forward momentum. Use it. This is your window to set intentions, to take action on projects you've been avoiding, to speak truths you've been holding back. But be aware that the confidence you're feeling today might waver as we move deeper into this Saturn station. Don't mistake temporary certainty for permanent clarity. Stay flexible. For water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, you are feeling this transformation more intensely than anyone else. You are the emotional conduits, the intuitive channels, the souls who came here to feel everything on behalf of the collective. Saturn in Pisces is your assignment. Jupiter in Cancer is your challenge. You are being asked to balance self-care with service, protection with openness, individual needs with universal responsibility. This is not easy. This is in fact the hardest work any soul can undertake, but you chose it. You signed up for it before you incarnated, and your soul knows how to do this even when your personality feels lost. For air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is scrambling your usual mental clarity. You're used to being able to think your way through challenges, to logic your way to solutions, to communicate your way out of discomfort. But Scorpio doesn't care about your mental gymnastics. Scorpio wants you to feel. This retrograde is teaching you that not everything can be solved with words, that some truths can only be accessed through emotional courage, that your intellect, as brilliant as it is, cannot protect you from the vulnerability that transformation requires. For Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, this cosmic fluidity is particularly destabilizing because you thrive on structure, on knowing what to expect, on building systems that work. But right meow, the systems are changing, the rules are being rewritten, the foundation itself is shifting. Your task is to trust the process even when you can't see the outcome, to take action even when you don't have all the information, to build even when you're not sure what's being built. Your practical magic, your ability to ground spiritual energy into physical form, is desperately needed right meow. But first, you have to let go of the need to control how that grounding happens. The environmental and energetic shifts on Earth itself are also accelerating. You may have noticed weather patterns becoming more erratic, more intense, more unpredictable. You may have felt the Earth's electromagnetic field fluctuating, creating physical symptoms like headaches, dizziness, or a sense of disorientation. This is not separate from what's happening in your personal life. The planet is responding to the same cosmic influences you are. Gaia herself is in a process of awakening and recalibration, and as conscious beings living on her surface, you are participating in her transformation, whether you realize it or not. Every choice you make, every thought you think, every emotion you process contributes to the collective field. You are not powerless, you are not a passive observer. You are a co-creator in this planetary ascension, and what you do with this information matters more than you know. So what do you do with all of this? How do you navigate these intense energies without getting lost in the overwhelm? Let me give you the practical guidance that will help you not just survive but thrive during this transition. First, establish a daily grounding practice that connects you to both Earth and cosmos. This is not optional, this is survival equipment for the journey ahead. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you consume any media, before you engage with the demands of your day, take at least 10 minutes to anchor yourself. Place your bare feet on the earth if possible. If not, visualize roots extending from the base of your spine down into the core of the planet. Feel yourself held by Gaia's electromagnetic field. Then extend your awareness upward, through the crown of your head, connecting to the light of your higher self, your soul family, your galactic team. Feel yourself supported from above and below. Breathe into this vertical axis until you feel stable, centered, sovereign in your own energy field. Second, create a journaling practice specifically focused on release and sacrifice. Saturn in Pisces is going to keep showing you what needs to go, but you have to be willing to see it and name it. Every evening, sit down with pen and paper and ask yourself, what did I defend today that I no longer need? What boundary am I maintaining out of fear rather than wisdom? What part of my identity am I clinging to because letting go feels like death? Write without censoring, write without judging. Let the truth come through your hand onto the page. You don't have to act on everything you write. You don't have to immediately release everything Saturn is showing you, but you do have to acknowledge it. You do have to bring it into conscious awareness. What remains hidden maintains its power over you. What is named can be transformed. Third, pay attention to synchronicities and signs during this time, especially around November 20th and the days following. The universe is communicating with you constantly, but during these high-energy cosmic events, the veil between worlds becomes thinner and the messages become more obvious. Notice repeated numbers, especially sequences like 1111, 22, 555. Notice animals that cross your path, especially birds, which are messengers between earth and sky. Notice songs that play at significant moments, conversations you overhear that speak directly to your situation, books that fall off shelves, people who appear in your life with exactly the information you need. The cosmos is not subtle, right meow. The guidance is not hidden, but you have to be present enough, aware enough to recognize it when it arrives. Fourth, engage in active manifestation during the period when the moon is in Sagittarius, which gives you approximately 2.5 days of heightened vision and optimism. Write down your intentions for the next chapter of your life. Be specific. Don't hedge, don't qualify your desires with phrases like, if it's meant to be, or only if it doesn't hurt anyone. Saturn in Pisces will take care of the surrender and sacrifice. During this Sagittarius moon window, your job is to claim what you want, to articulate your vision, to shoot your arrow toward the future you're being called to create. The universe cannot deliver what you're not willing to ask for. Your soul cannot magnetize opportunities you haven't acknowledged you desire. Fifth, protect your energy field with ruthless discernment. This is not the time to be everyone's emotional dumping ground. This is not the time to sacrifice your well-being for the comfort of others. As Saturn moves direct and the interconnectedness intensifies, you are going to be more susceptible to energy vampires, to people who unconsciously feed off your light, to collective fear patterns that try to pull you into lower frequencies. You need strong boundaries. You need to know when to engage and when to retreat. You need to be able to say no without guilt, to end conversations that drain you, to remove yourself from spaces that don't honor your sovereignty. Compassion does not mean martyrdom. Service does not mean self-destruction. You cannot hold space for the collective transformation if you've allowed your own energy to be depleted. But here is what most people won't tell you about this period, and this is the challenging truth you need to understand if you're going to navigate it consciously. There is a dark side to this cosmic configuration that no one wants to acknowledge because it doesn't fit the comfortable narrative of love and light. Saturn's demand for sacrifice is not always gentle. The dissolution of ego structures is not always graceful. As you open yourself to feeling your interconnectedness with all life, you will also feel the pain of all life. You will feel the collective trauma. You will feel the species grief. You will feel the planetary wounds. And there will be moments when that feels unbearable, when you question whether you're strong enough to hold it, when you wonder if maybe you were wrong about your mission and you should have just stayed asleep like everyone else. This is the dark night that precedes the dawn, and you need to know it's coming so you're not blindsided when it arrives. Some of you will experience intense anxiety or depression during this period. Some will have relationships end suddenly and painfully. Some will lose jobs or opportunities that you thought were secure. Some will face health challenges that force you to slow down and reassess everything. These are not punishments. These are not signs you're doing something wrong. These are the inevitable consequences of dismantling structures that have been holding your life together, even if they were also holding you back. When you remove a load-bearing wall, the whole house has to be temporarily supported by something else until the new structure is in place. You are in that temporary phase, right, meow, and it's unstable by design. The collective chaos is also intensifying. You will see it in the news, in social media, in the behavior of people around you. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio is bringing hidden corruption to the surface. Old scandals are resurfacing, secrets are being exposed, power structures are being challenged. This is necessary for the collective awakening, but it creates a field of fear and uncertainty that you will feel even if you're not directly involved. You need to be aware that this collective anxiety can seep into your personal field if you're not vigilant. You need to limit your exposure to news and media that feeds fear without offering solutions. You need to curate your environment, both physical and digital, to support your stability rather than undermine it. The biggest mistake people make during these intense cosmic events is trying to bypass the darkness in their rush to get to the light. They try to positive think their way through shadow integration. They try to manifest their way out of necessary grief. They try to spiritual bypass their way past the ego death that transformation requires. This doesn't work. This creates what we call spiritual fragmentation, where parts of your psyche are moving forward while other parts are stuck in unprocessed pain, and the internal conflict drains your energy and blocks your progress. You have to be willing to go into the darkness. You have to be willing to feel the fear. You have to be willing to acknowledge what Saturn is showing you, even when it contradicts the story you've been telling yourself about your life. But here is the promise. Here is the light at the end of this particular tunnel. Here is what makes all of this worth it. When Saturn stations direct on November 28th and the power balance fully shifts toward Pisces energy, something becomes possible that wasn't possible before. You gain access to a level of intuition, compassion, and universal knowing that transcends the limitations of your individual consciousness. You begin to experience what mystics have called unity consciousness, where the boundaries between self and other become transparent, where you know with absolute certainty that you are part of something infinitely larger and more magnificent than your personal story. This is not a concept. This is not a belief. This is a direct experience of reality that changes you at the cellular level. After this transition completes, you will not be the same person you were. Your relationships will be different because you will be interacting with others from a place of soul recognition rather than ego need. Your work will be different because you will be creating from alignment with your soul's mission rather than society's expectations. Your daily experience will be different because you will be operating from a frequency of trust and flow rather than control and resistance. The defensive walls that Jupiter in Cancer helped you build will have served their purpose. They protected you while you gathered your strength. But meow, it's time to let them dissolve, to allow Saturn in Pisces to show you that your true safety lies not in separation, but in surrender, not in isolation, but in connection, not in defending yourself against the universe, but in allowing yourself to become a conscious vessel for its love. The investigation that Mercury retrograde is conducting through Scorpio's depths will reveal something precious. The reason you've been carrying certain wounds is because those wounds have been preparing you to serve others who carry similar pain. The betrayals you survived, the losses you endured, the darkness you navigated, none of it was random and none of it was wasted. Every experience has been weaving you into the medicine keeper, the way shower, the bridge builder that you came here to be. Mercury is showing you the connections between your personal suffering and your collective purpose, and when you finally see those connections clearly, the meaning floods back into experiences that felt meaningless. The purpose emerges from what felt purposeless. The gift reveals itself inside the wound. We want to honor every single soul who has stepped into Destiny Engine. With every activation, the current grows. What began as a personal tool has become a planetary force. We are meow moving as one, and the frequency you've created together is amplifying far beyond the individual. We're receiving updates daily, manifestations speeding up, impossible doors opening, synchronicities lining up with cosmic precision. The collective field is so charged that some are describing it as bending the fabric of reality itself. If you haven't yet experienced it, the entry point is almost laughably simple. Put on your headphones, press play. Allow Destiny Engine to rewrite the architecture of your consciousness so you can fully receive your galactic downloads without resistance. For just $1, you can step into this field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension. Step into the stream of Destiny Engine today. Link in the description. You are being prepared for a new role in the planetary awakening, a role that requires you to hold more light while also being willing to witness more shadow. The coming months will bring opportunities that match this new capacity you're developing. You may be asked to teach what you've learned, to mentor others who are just beginning the journey you've been on, to create platforms or communities where awakening souls can gather and support each other. You may be guided to step into more visible leadership, to use your voice in ways you've been afraid to use it, to claim space and resources that you've been too timid to claim before. These opportunities will arise naturally as you complete this Saturn transition. You don't have to force them. You don't have to chase them. You just have to be ready to say yes when they appear. The transformation you're undergoing right meow is part of a larger cosmic plan that's been in motion for decades, for centuries, for millennia. You are not separate from that plan. You are essential to it. Your willingness to feel, to connect, to surrender, to transform. This is the mechanism through which consciousness itself evolves. Every time you choose love over fear, connection over separation, truth over comfort, you shift the entire planetary field. Every time you do your inner work, you make it easier for thousands of others to do theirs. Every time you integrate another layer of shadow, you remove that obstacle from the collective path. You are not doing this just for yourself. You are doing this for all of us, for the entire human family that's struggling to remember who we really are and why we came here. I am Zarin from the Lyran High Council, and I want you to know that we see you. We see the courage it takes to stay conscious during a time when unconsciousness would be easier. We see the strength it takes to keep your heart open when closing down would feel safer. We see the dedication it takes to keep showing up for your growth when giving up would be more comfortable. You are not alone in this. You have never been alone in this. We are watching. We are supporting. We are sending you frequencies of encouragement and activation through every cosmic alignment, every planetary transit, every mystical synchronicity that crosses your path. The better days are not just coming. They're already here, woven into the fabric of this very moment, waiting for you to recognize them. The transformation is not someday. It's today. It's meow. It's in your willingness to release what Saturn is asking for and trust what Pisces is offering. We love you, we honor your journey, and we'll be here, guiding from the higher dimensions as you remember your way home to yourself.